欢迎收看中天的梦想驿站。奥斯卡金像奖即将揭晓，很多影片入围了最佳导演、最佳影片、最佳男主角、最佳女主角。可是，在许多人电影人的心目当中，有一部影片在这次的奥斯卡金像奖里头只被提名了一项，叫最佳摄影。但相当多的人认为，它是因为宗教的因素，最后不止没有在奥斯卡里头广获提名，甚至在全世界最受瞩目的坎城影展里头也没有得奖。这个影片名字叫《Silence》，沉默，已经正式的在台湾上映。在台湾上映这部影片意义非比寻常，导演是马丁史柯西斯，许多人对他太熟悉了。作为一位意大利后裔的美国导演，从年轻的时候拍《计程车司机》，他就已经一炮而红。他几乎每一部影片都会得奖，都创造很好的票房。而今天我们要为大家介绍的《沉默》这部影片，却是他人生10年来很久的一个愿望。他非常久就喜欢这一部同名的小说，日本作家远藤周作在43岁完成的小说《沉默》。他喜欢这部小说，他自己本身也是一个虔诚的天主教徒，就和远藤周作是一样的。可是他认为真正的虔诚是什么？虔诚不是迷信，是不断的追问信仰的本质是什么，不断的追问上帝，什么叫做正义？什么叫做公平？什么叫做受苦？上帝，当我信仰您的时候，您在哪里？而这一刻我和你的关系是什么？它是一个形式上的关系，还是内心里头非常深刻的一个信仰？整个故事的背景，它是根据当时日本在17世纪德川幕府的时代，那个时候日本去了非常多的来自西方的传教士，而日本认为这样的传教士所传播的教义并不适合日本的国情，而因此查禁了天主教跟基督教在当地的传播。在查禁的过程当中是非常残忍的，这个情况里头，有些神父被处决，有些神父被斩首，有些神父是在非常残忍的状况里头一个一个被杀害。而故事的源头来自于他们想寻找一位葡萄牙的他们很尊敬的天主神父，是从这个故事开始写起的。远藤周作根据他的信仰以及他对于各种不同宗教的理解，对日本的了解，完成这个创作。作为一个来自西方的马丁史柯西斯的导演，他希望能够把东方跟西方以及相同的宗教以及所有的信仰里头共同的问题，他希望能够把它提出来。可是这个剧本我为什么讲这么仔细呢？因为他等于是对有些过度迷信基督教的人认为这是一个对神的亵渎，因为他影片里头会有一些过程问说：上帝，我相信了你，可是今天你在哪里？而这些疑问在今天的一个开放社会里头，当随着这个世界越来越极右派，包括政治上头，包括宗教的时刻，他不被允许问一个本来就可以问的问题。所以当马丁史柯西斯他要拍这个影片的时候，第一个，这么一个大导演，他却筹不到钱，他得不到他应该早就拍其他的影片一定会得到的各种资金各方面的协助。而最后对他伸出手协助他的是没有宗教成见、宽容的台湾。台湾很欢迎这位大导演，给予他资金，而且让他在台湾拍摄。你所看到的所有的影像，几乎全部都在台湾拍摄完毕，包括里头很美的日本的庭园，也是在中影文化城里头拍摄的。最后处决的某几个场景，有的是在阳明山的温泉，有的是在花莲的海边。马丁史柯西斯说，他难以忘却台湾在这个事情里头所带给他的包容跟温暖之情。我们今天特别为大家介绍《沉默》这部影片，同时我对他个人进行了30分钟的专访。
Our Lord said to them, "Go ye into the whole world and preach the gospel to every living creature."
Ferreira is lost to us. He denounced God in public and surrendered the faith.
That's not possible. Father Ferreira risked his life to spread our faith all over Japan.
It seems to me that our mission here is more urgent than ever. We must go find Father Ferreira.
This is in your hearts, and both of you.
Yes.
Then I must trust God has put it down. The moment you set foot in that country, you step into high danger.
The price for your glory is their suffering.
It's too dangerous.
We asked for this mission. Praying to silence.
沉默源自日本作家远藤周作的同名小说，描述17世纪日本江户幕府禁绝天主教的时代。2名年轻神父冒着生命危险，偷渡到日本调查恩师弃教之谜。在目睹信众遭受各种凌迟与磨难之后，被迫面临最艰难的决定，也不禁怀疑自己的信仰，质问上帝。为何对信众蒙受的苦难沉默
As Italian American, you choose Ando's novel. This is just fantastic things to me. So that's my first question to you. Why do you choose his novel?
The novel was given to me by an archbishop of the Episcopal Church in New York, Paul Moore. He gave it to me after seeing the rough cut of Last Temptation of Christ. And he said, I have a book you should read about faith. And this is the journey I was on for many years. I tried, when I was much younger, to be a priest, and I didn't have a vocation. The fact that it takes place in Japan, the fact that it's by a Japanese Catholic, made it even more interesting because of the universality of it, that it's searching for the same thing. Also, the elements of the clash of cultures was fascinating to me. And so I read the book, and I wanted to make the book into a film, but I didn't know how. I didn't understand, ultimately, at that point, what his apostasy meant. And also the last 30 pages of the book, I'd say, the epilogue. I was fascinated by the epilogue. And so it took a number of years to be able to attempt a script, at which point financing fell apart, but I kept on to it. I held on to it because what I think he was getting at in the story, and I think we finally made a version of it, interpreted it, was something that I was searching for myself. And so I didn't want to give it up. But then we got into all kinds of legal problems. It went on and on like that from 1992 to 2007.
马丁·史柯西斯是意大利西西里岛的移民后裔，童年在曼哈顿小意大利区成长。因为患有哮喘，不能和其他孩童玩耍，电影院成为他的新天堂乐园。因为在天主教氛围浓厚的环境下成长，最初想成为一名神父，后来进入纽约大学念电影，黑帮、暴力、情义、宗教、生死，成为史柯西斯电影中盘旋不去的恒常主题。
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me?
1976年，史柯西斯以计程车司机夺下当年坎城影展金棕榈奖。
I'm the best. I can take it more than anybody.
1980年，世人见证影史经典出世，真实拳手故事改编的《蛮牛》为劳勃·迪尼洛抱走1981年美国奥斯卡最佳男主角。史柯西斯早在70年代读过小说《基督最后的诱惑》，就试图演绎出他心中的史诗经典，立刻遭遇保守宗教团体的压力。1983年着手拍摄后，被迫停摆。
I couldn't believe that. That's him. Tell him it's not my fault. I didn't do it.
他只好先拍了为他摘下坎城影展最佳导演的《3更半夜》，以及首部票房突破5000万美元的卖座影片，保罗·纽曼和汤姆·克鲁斯主演的《金钱本色》。基督的最后诱惑终于在1988年上映。史柯西斯将耶稣塑造成兼具各种复杂人性，最后升华到神性的角色，受到全世界基督教团体抵制。从拍摄到发行，经历一场又一场的灾难。巴黎圣米歇尔戏院甚至遭到纵火。
Rely on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
包括《基督的最后诱惑》在内，马丁·史柯西斯的《四海好家伙》、《纽约黑帮》、《神鬼玩家》都曾入围奥斯卡最佳导演。直到2006年翻拍自香港《无间道》的电影《神鬼无间》，才让马丁·史柯西斯在距离拍摄生平首部影片38年后，获得第一座奥斯卡最佳导演金像奖。
And the Oscar goes to Martin Scorsese.
Thank you. Thank you. Could you double check the envelope? Thank you. So, I mean, I'm overwhelmed with this honor with the Academy, and also the honor of being presented by my old friends. We go back 37 years. I'm so moved. I'm so moved.
马丁·史柯西斯1989年搭乘从东京到京都的子弹列车，准备客串演出《黑泽明的梦》，饰演荷兰画家梵谷。旅程中，看完远藤周作的《沉默》，起心动念想要改编拍摄。28年后，漫长的等待周折，才夙愿得偿。
You love him?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to stay with that story. Right around that time, my whole life was changing too. As your parents die off, you know, I got married again, we have a child at a later age. All these things, values started to become clearer as to, and that was the story I kept going back to. I thought that it doesn't matter. It's the idea of whether it's professing one faith or another, but it's the condition we're all in, the human condition, and the yearning, the part of the human condition that yearns for the spiritual, especially in a world that is purely material, and in a world that's right on the verge of disastrous situations, for all we know.
But this story is not only talking about the believer. It's tell you that what is the true believer really conditioned by his situation. So it's become a very broader sense and quite oriental philosophical interpretation of the faith of the true believer. Is that touching you a lot?
It could be. I don't know. I think yes. I think Endo was more. He was more towards not Catholic but Protestant, as he was further on. And then, as you say, in Deep River, it's India. You know, so he was still on that journey. It's very interesting. Yet I found here that, you know, when the apostasy occurs, why in giving up all Rodriguez thought Christianity was, he gives it up. Yet when he does that, he finds true Christianity.
Yes.
And I said, well, how do we visualize? How do we do that? What kind of a journey is that?
Yes, it's very difficult to visualize that. It's easier to write that.
Oh.
But he did wonderful piece. You know?
Yeah. And so that was the journey. And that's where I felt, whether it's more Asian, and also dealing with Buddhism for a while with my interest in Buddhism, great interest in it, and even to the extent of making the film Kundun, which introduced me to a lot of to that world. I don't know. Also making a film on George Harrison called Living in the Material World, where Harrison started searching, the spiritual search. And I thought that was interesting, especially in the world that he was in. And also meditation, starting meditation, right around that time when I was making that film. So the meditation has helped to a certain extent.
It's interesting. The story is covered about the Christian, and this is a fight in an oppressed era, but it was philosophical in the interpretation by the philosophical way of Taoism that the formality is not important. The formality is not. It seems that I give up. It seems that I step on Jesus' face, but I never. That's just the formality. So this not. So I think it's. I'm not surprised that Endo finished the story in this way because he was a Catholic when he was very young, and he was brought up in a Buddhism country with a Zen. But what about you? How can you go to this journey?
Because it's a daring proposition. It says how much. What is faith really? Is it? Although the outer trappings of Christianity or Catholicism are something that is embedded in me, the iconography of the church, the suffering of Jesus, the suffering of the passion, all of this is something that's, I will never, it's something that is so deep in me. But what is beyond that? I have to get beyond those images and not mistake veneration for the image for the true heart of Jesus and that idea. And I think that's where he was going. And this was a shocking way of exploring that. You see, taking away all that, what's really left? The kernel of truth.
I think it's what's striking, about as a film director, you put the story on a very beautiful Zen garden and it's full of harmony, and then execution happened there. These two images is very contradictory and it's very frightening. And what is your feeling?
Learning also something about Asian culture and Japanese culture and the evanescence of life in Japan, the cherry blossoms, appreciating the cherry blossom for 2 days, then it dies. We'd like to keep in the West, we want the cherry blossom not to die, but it does. And so the edge of the inner calm and peace, shockingly broken by an instance of violence, you see, which is something that is somewhat incomprehensible in a way. And I wanted to explore that, particularly from the point of view of the Westerner who's stuck in the cell. We don't shoot outside the cell. We shoot everything inside.
Yes.
And he's totally helpless. He can't do anything about it. And this is life.
But is it for the funeral or for the temple, for everything that he wear, and finally, it's such a beautiful funeral, I have to say. And then you make it so beautiful, and we don't see it's kind of oppressed his faith, okay, oppressed his religion, that kind of a giving. So do you think that's a kind of critiques toward that even the formality of Christian is not important?
I mean, there's a danger of saying yes to that in a sense, and if you do, that's maybe too simplistic. I said that to Archbishop Paul Moore that night. I said, ritual is not important. He said, no, ritual is important. Very important. Ritual is sacred. It creates a sacred space. Very often we make a film sometimes. Often during the day, we're working all together, the crew, I feel a sense of sacredness about making movies. It could be the most profane subject, but there's sacredness, and really felt it on this film too. I don't think, I don't feel that all the, as I say, the outward signs of Christianity is something that's irrelevant. But you can have all the outward signs you want, this still has to be in here. And we have to find what's in here.
That's very Zen.
It is.
That's very Zen.
I like that.
You like it?
I really do.
You have to like both, so you can finish this film.
Yes.
在《沉默》这部影片里头，有一个浪人的角色。这个浪人角色对我们所有的人来说，都是一个很值得我们自己深切自我反省的一个存在。这个浪人呢，是日本非常贫穷的一个人之一。当时日本在幕府时代严禁了天主教跟基督教在那个地方传教，而是什么样的人会笃信基督教跟天主教呢？因为他们认为他们会有来世。就是最贫穷的人，那些最贫穷的人，他们的生活太苦了，所以当他们被处决的时刻，他并不害怕，因为他认为上帝应许了一个天堂，在那里不再饥饿，不再受寒。在那个年代，那么贫穷的日本人，他决定接受耶稣的洗礼，那是因为他想脱离他这一世所受到的痛苦。于是有了浪人的这个角色，他在那个年代里头，他想生存下来，而他就不断的要去告密，要去出卖，要去背叛。最终他含泪地说了一句话：神啊，我很愿意好好的相信你，做一个正派的人，可是你为什么让我生在这个时代，就是一个没有宗教信仰自由的时代里头？而这个过程里头，我们也看到我们在身边很多人在信仰中所扮演的角色。他不断的出卖自己，他背叛朋友，他也背叛他对神的许诺。然后呢，很简单，现在的仪式，他可以到教堂里头找神父忏悔，或者是他念着圣经，他就得到了平静，因为神会宽恕他，这是这个宗教给他的应许。浪人就充分表现这个角色，他也因此被认为是对基督教教义的一个质疑，也就是不断的忏悔就没有罪恶了吗？但是远藤周作也好，或是Martin Scorsese， 还是这个影片里头，他用了一个非常同情的角度来看这个浪人。有这么多的人，是的，这个宗教仪式允许你犯罪，然后犯罪之后忏悔，但是有好多人他扮演这样的一个角色，因为这个时代逼迫着他不得不出卖自己。
One of us must go to Nagasaki and find him.
It's too dangerous. For us, for the people who shelter us.
We send Kichichiro, he brings back word we can act on.
Are you mad? Where is he? He's never here. He's always drunk. You know he can't be trusted.
What do? We must do something to find Father Ferreira. Let's go out. Let's risk it. Just for a moment. Look. That's God's sign.
Don't move. Someone's here watching us.
Kichigiro.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. In the novel, he tried to make him as most of the normal people. They might have a kind heart, but they want to survive. They're poor, so they betray their friends and betray the God. And one day he prayed, he said, why should I be born in this era?
In this time.
In this time, yeah. If in the other time, I don't have to betray the God. It's very touching.
Yeah.
But in your film, you try to make me feel like that, but sometimes he is more like a clown, you know.
Help me, Padre. Where is the place for a weak man? Bless me, Padre. For I have sinned.
Just at times, yeah. Because he gets irritating. At times. it's almost a dark humor where how could you keep, it's tricky with language, but if you're the priest and you have the power to give absolution, and this person keeps coming back, at a certain point, the priest might smile or laugh from frustration. That's why he tells Kichijiro in the jail, he says, do you understand what absolution is? And Kichijiro has the right answer. He looks at him, he says, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I need you. He doesn't say that, but I need you. He said, why was I born now? I really mean that I really intend to do better, to be stronger. But I'm so weak. You know, where's the place for a weak man in a world like today, which is any one of us could say about our time in life. And so, yes, one has to be able to even see the dark humor of that. It's outrageous that his continually coming to be, please hear my confession, hear my confession. But he does mean to try better in the future. He really does.
That on the whole film, he kept betrayed and kept asked for confession. That's one of the critiques toward the Christianity, about the Christian, that even that you are a saint, you can confess and everything.
There's a catch, though. There's a catch. You can confess, but you have to really try to make a change. In other words, the confession is not that easy. I found that there are some people I know who say, oh, we'll go to confession, but we don't have to tell the truth. We don't have to say, well, why go to confession then?
That's part of the idea that you try to represent in your film, because we're not talking about what is Christian now. We're talking about what you want to represent in this film. I notice everybody laugh every time when they say, I want to confess. Everybody just laugh, okay? So you just try to tell people confession is not so easy.
That's right. That's right. But what's good about Kichijiro is that, and what Rodriguez learns, I think, is that Kichijiro is genuine. He's genuine. He does want to confess, and he does mean that he will make a change. I promise to be strong. I will be stronger next time. And he can't be. He can't be. And it's like many of us, I guess. Me, you know. And even though you try and you collapse again.
Kichijiro, he's aware of that. A lot of us living in his situation.
Oh, yes, exactly.
We don't feel about that, right?
You don't feel?
A lot of us living in his situation.
That's right.
We betray ourselves, we betray God, we betray our faith, but we don't feel about that. We don't feel that we are sin. We don't even feel that we need to confess.
That Jesus was always criticized for his company that he kept. You know, the tax collectors who were really bad people at the time, considered terrible. Prostitutes. Here's a prophet. What's he doing with these people? He said, He said, I don't have dinner with the heads of the establishment. I'm here with the people who need me. He said, well, why don't you spend time with the people who are who are better in a sense, who live a better life? He goes, well, they don't need me as much. The sinners need me more.
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was $3 shy of $1 million a week.
I don't think the wolf from the Wall Street will feel that they need to confess.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? You like that, right?
Oh, Wolf of Wall Street, my God, yeah. And their attitude is like they're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's right. They're even worse thing.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have no, in Wolf of Wall Street, he has no, it's interesting, he had no sense of, the way we presented in the story, no sense of morality, of taking advantage of other people and lying to other people. And I'm not just talking about his sexual activities, I'm talking about what he did with the money.
He denounced God.
The priest tried to tell their father in Portugal that the people in Japan, the reason why they choose the God, because they are so poor. They don't have enough clothes to wear in the winter. So they have to rely upon God. And they believe if they have the chance or opportunity to go to the heaven, all the pains will go. Okay, it's that kind of how do you interpret that phase?
No matter how wretched they are, no matter how poor, they still matter. They have a soul. Mm-hmm. They're still loved. Mm-hmm. They still have a right to exist. Mm-hmm. You know, and yes, it may be terrible in this world, but the next world will be better. Mm-hmm. Now that's arguable, of course, but it made them feel good about being in this world, mm-hmm. because they felt that they were special. Each person, each life is special. They're not just peasants and not just and so this is something that I think gave them a dignity, or at least feeling a different way about themselves. Something unique, and that was one of the reasons I think many of them embraced Christianity at that time.
How do you live? The danger is so great. We pray in secret.
And that's something that the Pope from the Portugal, they don't understand. The father.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. You see, I was reading, again, Life of Jesus by Endo, and he talks about the Japanese. He said the Japanese are afraid of four things: fire, earthquake, typhoon or something, and fathers. They said, we don't need the father. We could use the mother, the Madonna of the Snows, the mercy, the compassion of Christianity. That might be interesting.
There's the lyrics, and you keep it in your movie. Because you will broadcast this movie in the United States, in Europe, in Italy, okay? There's the lyrics. And the Japanese say, oh, those priests, you from Portugal, from Spain, from British, you just try to have your territory.
Exactly.
So actually it's a kind of a critiques.
Maybe.
Everybody, you say you represent the God, but you try to actually, you're just controlling the power and competing each other. I think Endo understands, and he, from the eyes of the Eastern, he tried to criticize this.
Yes.
But you keep that.
Yes, absolutely, because I believe that too. I believe that too. I believe political power.
Even this religion.
Yes, it's denying the very basis of what the religion should be, Christianity should be, and it gets in the way. It's man-made. It's not made by God. It's man-made. And the church goes, particularly at that time, out of control that way. They had all the power in Europe.
It's too dangerous.
They have us. We comfort them.
They felt that they were bringing joy and mercy and compassion to the people. The powers in the West, don't forget all of Europe was Catholic, and they controlled everything.
The whole world. We're quite depressed today, and we don't know where we're going to. Mm-hmm. So everybody tried to give a very simple answer. But this film, and all the question, and even about belief itself, you don't offer simple question. You kept struggling about what is the faith. You kept asking and even questioning the God. Why do you keep silence? And finally, you settle by a very broad sense of the God, broad sense of the faith, broad sense of the silence, and to the end of this story. So it's become a very good film, making people to think. But for a director, you're really doing something that is good and both risky, because there's a simple answer world.
There is no simple answer. Part of it is the biggest answer I found is the struggle to find the answer. Okay. The struggle. We can't give up. We can't give up. Okay. And even if we fall, or Jesus falls with the cross, we have to get up again. And if we fall with the relationships and family, I mean, all of this, everything we do. And the thing that worries me now is the lack of compassion, the lack, like in my country, with the possibility of the taking away, for example, of the insurance for 20 million people. What kind of a country where you don't take care of your people? The poor.
Talking about Obamacare?
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I understand there's technical things. There are economic issues, but
also racism.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, where's Christianity there? How could you say you're a Christian? I know it's in our country. In our country, there's no official religion, but it was founded by men who were Christians back in the 18th century. Yeah, in God we trust. So, what are you saying? The basic person in the street, you have to take care of them. You know, yes, not everybody can afford it. We know that. But if you make more money, then you pay more taxes. Simple. But they won't do that.
So you love the story in this the open answer way, complicated answer way, struggling answer way.
I don't think there's any answer. I think the answer is in our doing. In our doing, we try to do the best we can, always taking into mind the other person.
目前为止，大概没有一个国际这么重要的导演，全部所有的影片都是在台湾拍摄的。《Silence》沉默这个影片 ，Martin Scorsese 他所完成的影片呢，主要是他的美术指导是黄文英。当时他希望看尽很多个地方，去了纽西兰，当然也去了日本，去了北加州，去了温哥华。后来他发现了台湾，除了资金的问题，台湾愿意给他的各方面的协助之外，他发现了花莲之美。 阳明山某些地区，它的原野、芦苇，然后面对那种可怕的东北季风，那种跟生命挣扎的现象，完全就是他所要的17世纪当时的氛围。我们来看相关的介绍。
It took so many years to get the Silence made for so many reasons, and during that time we looked at different areas of the world, and we started with the real places in Japan where Shushiko Endo's novel took place in Nagasaki, a small village called Satomi, which in the movie is Tomoji, Unzen Hot Springs, so many others. But we didn't film there because it would be too expensive. So in addition to Japan, the production designer Dante Ferretti went to New Zealand, scouted it, Vancouver, Northern California, and finally Taiwan. But he realized right away that this is where we could make the picture. The landscape was very, very similar. Had so much to offer Taiwan. The coastlines are untouched. The land itself, the landscapes were quite extraordinary. And
how many times did you travel to Japan? I think you loved Japanese culture.
I like very much. I was there, 1979, 1981. 88, on and on.
You have Kyoto, right?
Kyoto, yes, I've been there many times in Kyoto.
Yeah, because most of the garden is quite close.
That's right. Yes, yeah, and in the small inns also. And I just happened to see a lot of Japanese films, and particularly the films that were coming out in the early 60s.
Who are the directors?
And then I saw the Kurosawa films, Ikiro, To Live, and Seven Samurai. And then I saw Ozu, but the Ozu took me a long time to appreciate Ozu. Right, you know? You know what I mean? I don't know. But Tokyo Story.
Tokyo Story.
The ending of Tokyo Story.
他会放等一下呢。
One has to understand too. For example, there was the Renaissance, I should say, or the new wave of Taiwanese film through Hao Xiaoshan and Xing Liang. You know, so all of this, that was a whole other way of seeing the world, a whole other way of perceiving.
Most of the movie filmed around the place where I live.
Really?
Yes, I live in Yangming Mountain, and you have to read. I think it's on.
Oh yeah.
It's about 10 minutes driving distance from my house.
Oh my God.
And
That's
it's horrified, that you put the people that hang on by the cross on the rocks.
Oh, it was a beautiful location for the cave. That cave when we went to location scouting in that cave was so mystical. There was a woman in there meditating. Oh. And we just went right by her. She was meditating quietly in the cave. As that's a perfect place.
Thank you for coming, Taiwan.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very interesting talk.
另外一部我们要为大家介绍的是 Mel Gibson 所导演的《钢铁英雄》。《钢铁英雄》这次在奥斯卡金像奖里头总共被提名6项，包括最佳影片、导演、男主角，谈的也是跟宗教有关的议题，但是没有像我刚刚为大家播出的《Silence》如此的让人们感觉反省、沉重，甚至保守的右翼人士会抵制。这部影片谈的是一个因为宗教信仰而拒绝携带武器的人，他在2次世界大战冲绳岛战役里头的相关行为。
What the hell is your delay, Captain?
We're waiting, sir.
Waiting for what?
Private Doss.
Who the hell is Private Doss?
一个人可以加入军队，最后全身而退，但怎么可能赤手空拳冲入地狱般的战场？当时的世人曾经一度不了解他。杜斯出生维吉尼亚州，他来自一个美国乡间贫困但努力劳动的家庭。父亲是木匠，母亲在制鞋厂工作。2次世界大战后期，美军加速进逼日本本土，希望结束战争。他在1942年被征召入伍。他明确表示想为国家尽一份力，但他的信仰不允许他使用武力。
This is a personal gift from the United States government designed to bring death to the enemy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sergeant. I can't touch a gun. You don't kill. No, sir. You know, quite a bit of killing does occur in war.
Private Doss does not believe in violence. Do not look to him to save you on the battlefield.
If one of them attacks you and some wounded soldier, what are you gonna do? Hit him with your Bible?
I'm prepared to give my life for my men.
You don't win wars by giving up your life.
2次世界大战在冲绳岛的战役是惨烈的，它被称为 Typhoon of Steel， 日文称为铁雨战役，因为炮弹如大雨从天而降。它也是规模最大的2栖登陆行动。即便面临死亡如此逼近人，他依旧坚持不配枪。1945年春天，美军与日军在钢锯山脊发生了惨烈的一役。战场上死伤惨重，上级下达撤退命令，唯独他一个人往山上爬。
They trust me. I didn't feel like I should value my life above my buddies, so I decided to stay with them and take care of as many of them as I could. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
他拒绝拿枪杀人，而是克难的以枪作为临时担架，把他的军中弟兄一个个拖出战场。
So I just kept praying, Lord, please help me get one more, until there was none left. And I was the last one down.
I'm gonna get you home. There's something you gotta see.
Who did this?
That's the card.
We have to go back up tomorrow. And they're not gonna go up there without you.
到了当天深夜，他总共拯救75个人。
15 heroes decorated by President Truman with a Congressional Medal of Honor.
I don't consider myself a hero, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's love. My service was service of love. We worked together as a close team. They had confidence in me. I had confidence in them. We worked together, and when they were out there, I knew their lives depended on me. I just couldn't give them up, even though I knew the chance was great I might be killed. but I wouldn't let myself think of being killed. My thought was, if I could just save one more man, it would be worth getting wounded over.
战争为什么发生？人为什么要彼此残杀？恐怕令所有人无言。但牺牲自己拯救他人，或许是战场上令人感到人性仍在的一点微光。
今天我们主要为大家制作的是 Martin Scorsese 所拍摄的《沉默》，大多数的场景几乎全部都是在台湾拍摄。而这部影片呢，第一个筹资资金非常的困难，它的内容非常的深远，谈到了东方跟西方对于许多信仰问题里头的冲突，而最终他在他所看到的包容跟爱里头，慢慢的不断的去寻求答案里头，包括挣扎的答案，不断寻找的答案。他给了我们一句话：这个世界上没有简单的答案。在访问 Martin Scorsese 之前，其实了解电影界的人告诉我们，过去他拍计程车司机很年轻的时候就成名，然后呢，接着他拍非常多的电影，票房都很好，还有《华尔街之狼》也是他的作品。可是拍这一部《Silence》沉默的过程当中，他受尽了辛苦，受尽了挣扎，也受尽了拒绝。作为一个大导演，他仍然坚持，因为这是一个为他信仰而完成的影片，所以他过去也很少接受媒体的专访，不管在美国或是在欧洲，他几乎都不接受访问的，因为他不相信宣传这一套。但是在台湾，他很魄力的接受了访问，因为他对台湾充满了感激，而他也特别出席了好几个重要的影展，希望很多人破除他的保守的宗教成见，来理解什么是真正的信仰。像一个传道士跟了不起的导演一样， Martin Scorsese 完成了这一部影片《沉默》。非常谢谢你收看今天中天的梦想驿站。